Hello guys, and you're welcome. In this chapter, we're going to learn how we can create mini characters. So let's go ahead and begin. And this is just a sample of what we can actually create. Just with a few pixels, you can actually create a distinguishable character that has a little features, and we can use those features to actually work on your own character concepts. So let's go ahead. And for this first example, we have like a mini kind of like Batman. We have some random dude, and we just have this kind of like robot dude. So yeah, let's begin. So the first thing I'll do is to create a new project, and I'll set this to a 16 by 16 pixels. And I think I have background set up for yeah, I'll just use transparent pixels, and I'll click OK so we can have this document. So the first thing we want to do, we actually know we have a limited palette like so we'll actually try to place some of those features. And what I'm doing is to create a two heads tall character. Basically the height of the head and the height of the body is the same. Basically if I have a head like this, whoops, I'll just use my brush tool. If I have a head say like this, alright, like that's the size of the head, then the size of the body is also going to be roughly equal or even less than the size of the head, like so. And I can have little feet right here. Right, so you can actually use this to create distinguishable features for your characters. And okay, let me just add a little arm like so, and let's just fill this up. So this is going to be our silhouette that we'll be using to build this character. So let's say I want to add a little face color, so I'll just add some kind of like color right here to distinguish where the face is, like so. We could even add point for our ear, and for the hair we could even change the hair and kind of like add some of this just to make it distinguishable. And for the eyes, we'll just look for a bright value and then place one pixel right here and another pixel. And if you want, we could add brows, but we're not really into that. So let's say this character is wearing a shirt, so I'll just pick this color, or just use a mid-tone blue for the shirt, and let's just drag this right here for this character's shirt, and say he's wearing okay, I think that's we'll just leave the shirt as here to stop right here, and say he's wearing kind of like a t-shirt. So we'll just pick a light value and then indicate points for that t-shirt. And for the arm, we'll just use the color of the skin for the arm like so. And we'll just add a little shadow right here at the bottom. And this color is quite similar to our background. So we'll just add this right here, and we can actually call this character done. So you have like a mini character, a miniaturized character. And I'll just bump this up a bit. And then for here, we can even add a little bit of shadow for the t-shirt like so. And even for the skin, we just slightly darken the skin just a little bit, especially along the edges, right, like so. And then this arm also can be dark, so we can actually show that, hey, light's coming from here. And then for our characters here, if this is too dark, we can just brighten it up a bit and add a few pixels right here to indicate like light coming in, and we can just add a few right here. So we could just create a mini character that's distinguishable. We could give him a name. We could call this guy Paul, right? Sorry if your name's Paul, I'm just picking random names here. So you just call this guy, mini guy, Paul. So let's go ahead and do another one. So in this layer, I'll just create a new layer and increase the size of my canvas to let's add to 16 pixels to the left and also 16 pixels to the right. So you can actually have two characters just like so. So for Paul, let's just shift Paul and just hold down shift and drag Paul to the left like so. So I'll just call it Paul like so, and then our second character. So this time around, let's go and see what we can build for our second character. Again, now Paul is roughly it's larger than two heads, but that's totally fine. So first, like I always do, I always start with the silhouette. So let's just start with a basic silhouette for a character and see what we can come up with. So I'll just do like, I'll place these blocks like so, just to represent, the height of the character. And as it gets smaller, I'm just going to set the body as so. Right, so basically our silhouette, let's just add, say, let's just make this slightly wide. I'll kind of like add this, like so. And yeah, let's just stop right there. So this is going to be our little silhouette, and then we can even add like, like arms around here. And let's go ahead and paint in the face of our character. So for this, I'll just pick a pale color and kind of like jump in right here. Let's just make this slightly neutral and just come in like so, and then paint a little kind of like face detail like that. And then for the eyes, we could just set the same dark value and just place the one right here and place another one right here. So it's going to be looking like an Undertaker character, but that's totally fine. So what we also do is to kind of like say, hey, this character is wearing a kind of like red suit. Like, so just pick a red value and kind of like just place it right here. Right, so he's wearing some red fabric. I'll just push that fabric like so. And say he's wearing this kind of like red jacket thingy. So right here on the face, let's just pick the color like so, and just slightly darken that a bit, and then add some kind of like shadow elements right here. And our character doesn't even have a mouth. We're not even including a mouth for our character. And what I like to do is just add a little kind of like belt right here. So to do so, I'll just select these pixels. I'll just use the move tool, select these pixels underneath, and just kind of pull them down just one unit. And then use our brush tool, select this dark value, and then paint in this section like so. And then we could just pick this color, make it slightly bright, and then add a belt like that. We could even leave it empty as we want to, but this is just a basic representation. And also for the hat, we could add one more layer for the hat, even add another one on top. I'll just leave it like so, and I'll just add some of the shadow we have for Paul, and I'll just call this vector. Right, like that. And our hat is too dark, so we'll just add a little kind of like reflection here, and just kind of like leave it as so. We could even get rid of this, maybe in case this is not this doesn't work, and that's not the best way we want to use and represent this. So we could even use this to create, other kind of character types. Let's go ahead and create another character just to boost and just fill that up. So I don't have a name for this character yet. I'll just lock these two layers so I don't just jump in and start working on that layer. So for here, let's go ahead and work with the silhouette. Now the silhouette is very important because it can give you ideas of what you want your character to look like. In fact, you can even do a character without any feet at all, or you can even have feet. You will use very, very basic illustrations for those feet. So let's go ahead and just jump in and kind of like create a very rough kind of like character sketch like so, and then think about the body like that. And this is going to be the head, like with this silhouette. And then I want this character to have very funny, iconic hair. So I'm just placing these pixels for the hair. And then we could just add little pixels for the arm, like so. So let's go ahead and see how we could kind of like shade this in. So first, I'll pick a color for the skin. I'll just use a kind of like warm orangey color for the skin, like this one. And I'll just go ahead and try and follow that pattern for our face. So yeah, I think this is fine. I'll just brighten that up a bit. Yeah, I think this is fine for a kind of like face color. And I'll just kind of like paste this in like so. And then for our hair, let's just add one more pixel like so. So for our hair, I'll just pick a kind of like brown and make it kind of like dark. Yeah, I think this is a good color for hair. So we'll just kind of like place that in, and we could always look at our preview window to see what's happening. So like that. We could even do a little shading with the hair. Let's see if we do that. I don't like that. I just like this part where the hair kind of like breaks a bit. And I'll erase this pixel like so, just to give a very funny value. So let's go ahead and add the arm. So our character has a very large arm. And let's do a white shirt. So I'll just go over here and select a color for the shirt like so, and just kind of like place that. And then for the feet, let's just use the blue for Paul's shirt and represent our feet. So obviously I want this to be slightly dark, and I'll go over here and then add a little darkness here. Now one trick you can always use to show distance for your characters, you can make one foot darker than the other. It'll actually show that, hey, one is in the front and one is in the back. So I'll quickly do that for Paul. I'll unlock this layer, select this color and make it slightly bright. Right, so let's do that for vector. Let's select our dark value, and I don't really go this dark. I don't like how this is very dark, so I'll just kind of like paint in Paul's, each gray value. I don't want it to be 100% black because I don't really like it to be too black. So I'll just select all the dark values for Paul and just kind of like bump it up a bit. And then for this foot, we'll just lighten that foot up a bit. And maybe that might be too bright. We'll just set this. Alright, so good. So let's get back to our character right here. So right now I want to create some, I've been just using eyeballs and dots for eyes. I just want to create some kind of like spot for the eyes to stay in. So I'll select a slightly dark value like so, and then use that to kind of like paint in the eyes. Obviously I want to make this slightly dark, so I'll just paint in our eyes like so, and even add a little teeth. Okay, that's not going to work. So let's just jump out here like so. I'm just working on the t-shirt, and let's see what happens when we just erase this pixel. I think it's kind of better with this pixel erased along the edge. And I'll just select this value and add a little shadow right here on this part. And for our hair, let's just darken our hair slightly along behind him. So let's just drag this and like that. And for our skin, just add little dark sections for our skin like so. And we actually zoom in and see we have an iconic character with that hair, and yeah, we actually have that hair for that character. Now the reason why I'm using this simple palette is because it allows me and forces me to kind of like use minimal techniques to achieve a greater look and achieve that iconic character design that you can actually use. So you can actually see this. So if I have a silhouette and say for instance I paint this character, let's just duplicate and let's just call him Pete. So if I duplicate Pete, go to duplicate Pete and I select Pete right here. Let's just use the lasso tool to quickly select Pete, and I use the magic wand, and or I just fill this up. Let me just quickly fill Pete up with a very dark value so we can actually see what points I'm trying to push on here. So if I deselect that, we can actually see that just from the silhouette, even without seeing the colors, I actually know that's Pete because of the way his hair is like moving up. So yeah, we can actually use that to create mini characters, kind of like have funny names for your characters. And hope you're gonna have fun creating your own characters. And let's see what you can come up with. In our next lesson, we're going to bump up the pixels and add 32 more pixels, and then see that we could add a little bit of more detail when we have more pixels to work with. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next lesson.